very shortly. So thank you for joining today's webinar, How Princess is Taking Cruising to the Next Level. We're really excited to be welcoming shortly our presenter today. Her name is Carmen Roig. She's the Vice President of Sales at Princess Cruises. We're going to jump into a video and then we'll have Carmen join us.
We're expecting you.
Well, greetings, valued travel partners. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Carmen Roig, Vice President of Sales for Princess Cruises. And first, I want to thank you, Eilish, for that wonderful introduction. And the video you just saw is really what we call our portals to love. So that's our 30-second spot. You know, Princess is really, and I think as you know, it is, how is Princess making or taking cruising, right, to the next level? So much to share with you. We have, listen, it hasn't been a dull moment. I've been with the brand 2.5 years, but first I want to talk a little bit about myself. For those who I do not know, by the way, I was just in Canada. I was telling Eilish, I was in Montreal recently and it was so warm. I mean, it was unseasonably warm, I want to say, but it was gorgeous, picture perfect. So, oh, Canada, needless to say. And last week, I was doing a Canada New England cruise on the Enchanted. So again, got back to Canada. It was fabulous. Everybody loved the experience. So as you will know, we have great commitments to our Canada market. So I'm so glad that you're all here. I've been with the Princess brand just 2.5 years. I joined in 22, but previous to that, I've been doing this. Actually, it's the Love Boat, watching it every Saturday night as a teenager was the reason I got into the cruise industry. So fast forward 43 years later, and here I am. 30 of my first year were with Carnival Corp, and I can say that because Princess is part of the corporation. And it was wonderful to be able to come full circle because during those 30 years, I pretty much represented, sailed, or was on every single Carnival Corp brand except Princess. And to think that Princess was the brand, and the Love Boat specifically, that got me into the industry, it's just like, you know how the stars and the moon align? Well, you're going to see how the sun revolves around me because it actually worked out beautifully. So that's my lovely family. We always took a New Year's cruise. That was on the Caribbean Princess last year. Super excited. We always do our, as a matter of fact, this year's reunion for the family is also on New Year's on Sun Princess, which you'll talk about later in the presentation. That's my son, who, by the way, I know my future daughter-in-law won't be watching, but he'll be getting engaged shortly. So I want to bring you up to speed. The husband retired after 33 years in law enforcement. Super happy. He has a consultancy company, and luckily he's keeping busy. And then my lovely daughter is actually training. She has a special job as a special agent with the Secret Service, U.S. Secret Service. So just giving you an update on the family. I always love to talk a little bit about what's happening. So every time I do a webinar, you'll get an update on where they are in their lives and where I am, because I'm thrilled to be with this incredible brand. And when I joined 2.5 years ago, we did a lovely restructure. So we've got a sales team that is killing it. They are truly engaged. And in Canada, obviously, we have representation. We have 3 sales representatives. And excited to say we should be having more to come. So wait for it. So let's talk about what is exciting and new at Princess. So we say exciting and new because that Love Boat song, I can never get bored of hearing it. And that's why I kick off every webinar with it. It's all about the Sun Princess. So if you haven't heard about our newest class ship, so you will hear in the next slide what Sun Princess is all about. And if you've followed Princess before, you know, we've had different iterations of the Sun Princess. And I will tell you that this one is a Sphere class ship. So if you go to the next slide, we're going to talk about the guest count. We're going to talk about a little bit more about Sun, but Sun and Star. So we've got Sun has joined our fleet. It was earlier this year in Europe. So she made her wonderful inaugural voyage. Absolutely gorgeous. It's really everything our guests love about Princess, but taking it to the next level. It's a Sphere class ship, 4,300 guests. We're going to talk about the veranda space, and we're going to talk about the Sanctuary Collection, which is hot off the press, and we'll be hitting the streets when we get here to Fort Lauderdale. By the way, I am coming to you from our studio in Fort Lauderdale. which is the East Coast kind of headquarters for our brand. Let me just give you a sneak peek of Sun Princess with the upcoming video. So hopefully you enjoyed that, because it truly is taking the Princess brand to a whole new level. Again, I mentioned Sun Princess was inaugurated earlier this year. She will be doing or making her way over to Fort Lauderdale, because she'll start her Caribbean season, Eastern and Western Caribbean, starting in October. But exciting new venues. So really, we decided to change up how we do things, but at the same time, we do not want to disenfranchise our loyalists. So I'll go through Sun Princess and some of the new venues. So on the next slide, you'll see the dome. So if you'll notice on that video, there was a big feature with the dome, because this is a new area for us, top deck, absolutely gorgeous. So just imagine the dome features an indoor-outdoor pool and obviously unique water features. So we've also created this. So I like to say during the day, think of Santorini, right? Because it's got this gorgeous levers throughout, beautiful bar areas, gorgeous views of the ocean, and the whole thing with sun. And I like to jokingly say the sun revolves around you when you're on board the ship. It's really bringing the atmosphere at sea, everything that makes cruising so absolutely memorable, bringing it indoors. So by day, just think of Santorini. And then the next slide, you'll see in the evening. So you saw in the video some of the aerial, and this is where I always get it wrong. So my Canadians will keep me honest, because we have a very unique partnership with renowned Cirque Eloise. Did I say that right? My French, I always say Eloise, which is such a, not the right way to do it. So I have been corrected. My wonderful French-speaking Canadian in Toronto, Christine, says, Carmen, it's Cirque Eloise. So hopefully I got it right. If not, put it in the chat. It's always technical, and I'll correct. So if you think about the evening, the dome really transforms itself into an evening vibe. I'm personally from Miami, so I always think of this as like a South Beach vibe, because it's totally different. And we'll have these aerial entertainment. Again, this is all new to us, but this area, the ship having been in operation now for several months, it is getting rave reviews because of the variety and the mixture of stuff, right? So really love the idea of these acrobatic entertainment venues. So the Piazza, which is the next slide, if you've been on a Princess ship, and by the way, Sun Princess is ship number 16 in our fleet. Previous to this, it was the Discovery Princess 2 years ago. And soon she will be joined, and we'll talk about it shortly, by Star Princess, which is also a Sphere class ship. So if you've been on Princess, I'll tell you, I got a great education when I joined 2.5 years ago, because I had a preconceived notion of what the Princess brand was. Little did I know, I knew nothing about the legacy of this 59-year-old brand. So this legacy that's really rooted in, so you talk about all these Italian words, in this our maritime group, our officers, it's really Italian, right? So you've got that feeling on board. I had no idea. The Piazza is the heartbeat of each and every one of our ships. So on Sun and Star, we just took it to the next new level and made it a 3-deck spherical window. So if you see the sphere, again, bringing the beauty of the ocean and all the sights and sounds from outside. And then, of course, the LED wall that actually spans those 3 stories really allows this to be a hubbub of entertainment. So no matter where you are in those 3 stories, you've got a great view of that center stage. So whether you want to be part of the entertainment or just want to be a bystander, at the end of the day, you get a great view. And then let's talk about the experiences. So I'll tell you, we really decided to create unique, not just entertainment experiences, but how do we create extraordinary experiences, not just on the F&B side, which is food and beverage. So we partnered, you'll see some exclusive partnerships, like I just mentioned in the Dome with Cirque Eleuse. That is an exclusive partnership that we have. So is our partnership with Magic Castle. So if you're not familiar with Magic Castle, so we have actually targeted this Spellbound is really what we've named this show, but it's not magic. It's a collaboration with the Hollywood icon, which is Magic Castle. I have had, I guess the luck, or it's really a privilege to have been invited in LA to this incredible, incredible magic experience, because it is not just the magician flipping cards like you see there. It is by invitation only. It's a private club in LA. Really, the membership is based on magicians or entertainment folks, but you can't get in there, forget being a member, but to be invited to see the shows, you have to be invited by a member. And I'll tell you, so now we've got this incredible partnership. And just imagine famous world-class magicians handpicked from around the globe, surprises in all of these theme rooms. And again, it is more than just think beverage, entertainment, an experience, not just a show. So I think Spellbound will really captivate our guests. That's what we're hearing, and it's very unique. And it really captures the essence of the original Hollywood Magic Castle. So going on to the next slide, because I really want to make sure that I talk about the other kind of partnerships. We have 30 plus restaurants and bars. As you can imagine, the ship is the biggest in our fleet. We're very excited about it, but it also gave us the opportunity to not only feature our, what I call our fan favorites, which is what our loyalists love, like Crown Grill, like Sabatini's. So all of those are real staples within our brand delivery, right? But we decided, let's take this opportunity to really expand the offerings, 30 plus restaurants and bars. So the Catch by Rudy, I can honestly tell you, I was just on Enchanted, as I mentioned. And for the first time, I experienced the Catch by Rudy. Absolutely spectacular, very fresh, very unique, really elegant. We've added in, obviously, the Teppanyaki hot pot experience, O'Malley's. Now, this is a one that has surprised me because everybody's super excited about the different options, and it's a pub reality, right? So it's a pub experience, very relaxed, super casual, and it's soon to become one of the favorites for our guests. And then we've got partnerships like Dario. So we've got the Butcher's Block with Dario, and then Love by Brito. I want to focus on Love because if you do not know who Brito is, so Romero Brito is a Brazilian artist. You see there the gorgeous heart and his fixtures. This is kind of like this whimsical artistry that he has. And so if you think about it, he features a lot of heart in his artistic exposure kind of thing. And when we thought about it, it was a perfect catch and perfect partnership. So we've used Rudy, our executive chef, obviously Catch by Rudy, to create the menu for Love. And when we talk about Love by Brito, it is a very intimate experience, more of a supper club on board. So very excited about, again, all of these new, exciting, fresh partnerships that we have. So if you go to the next slide, I want to pause because this is, for me, it's a game changer for our brand. When I joined 2.5 years ago, I thought, why don't we have this ship within a ship concept? Other brands that you sell or might be familiar with do. And it's just really taking luxury to the next level within this ship within a ship concept. And of course, if you've sold our other ships, you know, we've had sanctuary experiences. But the Sanctuary collection at this moment is exclusively on Sun and Princess. It actually will debut on the Sun Princess on October 11th when she starts her Caribbean voyage season. So take a look at this video, which I think gives you a summary of the feel. very excited about this experience, right? Sanctuary Collection. Again, I think we're late to the game. If you sold this luxury component on other brands, let's talk about what makes it so unique. So we'll go to the next slide. Really, it's about the vacation being elevated, but we're doing it differently. So Lorna, our VP of operations, actually went out and experienced other brands, other ships within a ship. It's really new premium stateroom categories. But on Sun and Star, if you think about it, you'll have early access and exclusive access, your own restaurant, your own lounge, your own area. It really appeals to that luxury subset. And us as a premium brand, we've never had this exclusivity. So we're late to the game, but I'll tell you, the way we're doing it is very different and we're changing it. Why is that? So I'll tell you why. So if you go to the next slide, you'll talk about why ours is different. We'll talk about benefits, but it's really in the stateroom offering. First of all, it is the very best stateroom categories aboard the ship, right? So you're going to have these bespoke amenities, and it's like a club experience. One of the things that our research shows is that guests love that exclusivity when they're in this subset and they like options, right? It's really important to have lots of options. And we like to kind of change our game. At Princess, we like to evolve the brand experience and how we execute. And it's always based on guest feedback. Really critical, which is, if you know, this ship has been in operation since the beginning of the year, yet we're launching this Sanctuary Collection in October, again, because our guests have asked for it. So think of the access that they're going to have to the Sanctuary Club, beautiful area, beautiful club level, which beautiful views of the sea, and then the exclusive dining room, which is, again, Signature Reserve Collection restaurant. And then this, which we announced recently, our Princess Premier package, and I have some slides about our bundles, which are Plus and Premier. We added some unlimited features to Princess Premier. And part of the Sanctuary Collection comes with the accent. So every single person in a Sanctuary Collection suite or stateroom will have Princess Premier included. So I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And again, the ability to have these amenities when booking a suite and having private access to the club, to the lounge, to the dining room, again, it just stands with this particular subset of clienteles. So if we go to the next slide, we'll talk about why ours is different. So this is what's unique. And I think Lorna did a great job. When you look at the other brands that include a ship within a ship concept, and if you've sold them, you know what I'm talking about. They normally restrict it to just all suites. What does that mean? You can't have access to their private areas and their private ship within a ship unless your clients are booking a suite, period. For us, we decided to really expand the offering beyond all of our suites. All 80 suites, Sanctuary suites, are part of Sanctuary Collection. We also took it to our select mini suites. About 123 of these mini suites are part of the offering within Sanctuary Collection. And then we took it a step further. We actually denoted 12 of our select deluxe veranda balcony staterooms to also be part of the collection. What does this mean? What it means for you when you're selling it to your client, again, based on research, this is how we do it. We look at it. Now the whole family can participate, because if you're going on another brand, I'll give you me as an example. When I'm on some Princess with my family, there's 20 of us. I am not going to buy a full suite. I love my children, but I'm not going to pay for a full suite just to get them in Sanctuary with me. Now I have the option. I don't have to do a full suite. I could do a mini suite for them, or I could do a deluxe veranda, which is, by the way, a veranda balcony is what I do for my kids all the time. Now, all of us, all generations, just think of how many multi-gen clients we have. It is mind-blowing. Now we've taken this experience and allow you to go ahead and market it beyond just the suite category. So I'm hoping you're as excited as we are, because again, this all came from research, talking to our guests. What do they like about other ship within a ship concepts, but what is missing? And how do we ensure that when we roll this experience out, it is the best in class? And so if you go to the next slide, we'll talk about some of the, open deck, beautiful panoramic views when you're looking at Sanctuary Club, right? A luxurious bar area, crafted wellness program. The food and beverage is completely elevated. I talk about adults only 16 plus, because again, it's really important. We really emphasize this is a marquee venue. So I absolutely love the idea of Sanctuary Club. And then a lot of folks have asked me, So I know you're going to probably put it in the question, so I'll answer it in advance. Because on the other ships offerings, obviously on Sun and Star, this is exclusive to those two ships, we do have a sanctuary access pass, right, that people buy. So it doesn't impact the other ships. But here, in order to have access to Sanctuary, you must be part of Sanctuary Club and be in that exclusive area. So I wanted to make sure everything is very, very clear as you position it. But let's look at, the private restaurant. If you think of the next slide and you look at some of the space and some of the exciting perks that are within it. So let's talk about Princess Premier. What's the big difference? So we announced this, I want to say about 3 weeks ago. Two things we announced. First, before we announced the perks of the new Princess Premier, we talked about the Medallion Net Max. So we are raising the bar on our Wi-Fi experience. Medallion Net Max, we're not charging extra for it. It's just now an added benefit and feature within Plus and Premier. And it is taking it's like Wi-Fi on steroids, I want to say. But you can't get it at a standard stateroom. You have to get it with our either Plus or Premier package. So Sanctuary Collection will include the perks of our new Princess Premier. So think about it. Included on all of our Sanctuary stateroom collection. So whether you're in a full suite, a mini suite, or a balcony veranda stateroom, unlimited, I want to focus on this, unlimited specialty and casual dining, which is incredible. It is our top of the line cruise package bundle, unlimited Premier beverage package. And the reason I've highlighted the top three is because, again, basing our changes, the involvement of our brand, we talk about asking our guests and what did they want. There's 3 anchors that guests want when they go on a cruise. And by the way, all 3 anchors are not just in Premier, but they're in Plus. Touch upon it later. Everybody wants a beverage package, right? So for Premier and in Sanctuary, we just upped it and made it unlimited versus previously we had limited it. Unlimited Wi-Fi. It is not a rite of passage. It is required now that you have excellent Wi-Fi on board. So we upped it to Medallion Net Max. But when you're in Princess Premier and in Sanctuary Collection, you get up to 4 devices. I personally have 3 devices. So there are people that have 4 devices. I look at my son. When I told him about Medallion Net Max, he was so excited because not only will he bring his phones, but he'll also bring his gaming because the quality of internet and Wi-Fi access with Medallion Net Max allows him to game. Yes, he's 27 years old and he's a gamer. Anybody else have that experience at home? And then the unlimited specialty dining is critical. The rest, absolutely fabulous. I love fitness classes, and if I've done enough of these desserts, I think I'll need it. Love the room service, love all the rest. But really, these additions of unlimited is a game changer. And again, always included when you're doing the Sanctuary Collection. Next slide. So then we're going to talk about some of these beautiful spaces. Obviously, their own private restaurant, right? Reserved exclusively for our Sanctuary Collection guests. No reservations needed, no waiting. Come as you are, when you want, and a custom chef menu that's dedicated and designed just for this particular restaurant. So I'm very excited about that. Next slide is their exclusive lounge, if I'm not wrong. There we go. The exclusive lounge for suite guests. So just think of it. And by the way, these are actual shots. We took these shots since the ship, we did a photo shoot and wanted not to have the renderings anymore. The ship's in the water. Let's talk about what we're talking about. 2-story venue. It's at the aft of the ship. Absolutely gorgeous place to meet. Private lounge just for Sanctuary class suite guests. So they can come in here, have a beautiful cup of coffee, enjoy the ocean views, or maybe an evening cocktail, right? Again, giving them this beautiful area that is exclusively for them. And then if you go to the next slide, we created, so I give great credit to the team, Joe Franco, our marketing manager, our senior marketing manager, may I add. We really wanted to take this to the next level. So we had our operations VP go out. Here we're just showing you the Sanctuary Collection compared to other brands that have this kind of ship within a ship concept. We've got the QR code there. Please compare. It's as simple as that, because what is it that we include? And again, I talked about, and this flyer is a key seller for you to really differentiate our brand offering. But you'll see the biggest thing for me is being able to offer additional stateroom categories, therefore tapping into the multi-gen crowd. Next slide as we shift over. We currently have an offer, and this, by the way, insider scoop. So we announced this incredible offer August 15th, and no one but you're hearing it first. My team doesn't even know that we're extending this $100 bonus commission on any bookings for Sanctuary Collection, whether they're suites, mini suites, or whether it's the deluxe veranda. There's your category on either Star or Sun. Whenever you want to book from now until the ships are in the water and we're offering it, there's the voyage details. There's the QR code with a customer flyer. You can customize this, which I think is great when you have this voyage list. But in addition to that, here's the insider scoop. We made the decision just yesterday. Nobody knows. You're the first to hear. Instead of September 30th, I decided to extend it till October 31st, giving you more time after this webinar to really become well immersed in this collection, how we do it different, and giving you the assets and the tools, and of course, our sales team. Next, I always like insider scoops. It drives my team nuts. They're like, what are you going to announce next? And I'm like, don't worry about it. It's all good. I just like to keep them on their toes. So obviously for Sun Princess, you all know 24, how we did incredible med voyages. 24 and 25 will continue to doing the med. And just a little sales tip. Next year, it's interesting because we're doing these 10-day cruises on Sun that are different. So we've got amazing price points on that. So if you have anybody interested in 2025 med, 10-day voyages on Sun are amazingly priced. We will also have her in the Caribbean. And then, of course, in fall of 2025, very excited to announce our Star Princess will be joining the fleet on her sister ship. She'll be doing Europe to start in fall, about October. And then she'll be doing the same thing, coming over on a transatlantic and then going ahead and starting her Caribbean voyage in fall of 25. Next slide. By the way, I'll give you another sneak. It's not a sneak preview. They get very nervous when I say this, but we will have Star Princess, and I know there's a slide to it, but I just want to tell you now, we have dedicated, because we are #1 in Alaska, I think all of you know that. It is, we don't just visit, we live there. We're actually putting Star, our newest ship, in 2026 in Alaska. So imagine, she'll come fall of 25 during Europe, then she'll head to the Caribbean, then she'll be doing her Alaska season. So our medallion class experience, if you've never heard about it, it's really unique. So we go to the next slide. I'm actually wearing my medallion. It's wearable. We bring it with, when we ship the medallion, we send it to your clients. They can order it. They can customize it. I did for my voyage on Enchanted. Every single voyage that you do on us, anytime they cruise on us, you get a medallion. It is personalized with your name, and it's personalized with the voyage, the ship, the voyage date. For my son and our New Year's, I happen to do a customized birthday one because it'll be his birthday during the cruise. So why is this so revolutionary? I mean, it is unique and exclusive to Princess. Why? Simple. Our president, John Paget, created the technology. He holds over 300 patents. And so this technology is very, very unique. And when the ships were, when the C word happened, I call it the coma or the pause happened, we did not sit on our laurels. Our ships were very much active, redesigning themselves and really getting the technology ready to have the access points. So you have all the hotspots within the entire fleet. It really allows you, and I have tested it, the medallion with the Princess app on board, that you can do, your clients can do everything in advance, be green, ready to go. I did it last week when I was in Enchanted, and you get on the ship faster. They can order anything. It is delivered to them personally wherever they are. The best Wi-Fi at sea. So I just said with the medallion class, if you're standard, and we'll talk about standard because there's things that Plus and Premier do, keyless stateroom entry. I jokingly talk about this because a couple things. I think about every time I've sailed on another regular cruise ship, and I've sailed on many of them, my husband loves to demagnetize that key. It drives me insane because we might separate. He gambles, I don't. And then I go to the room and the key card is demagnetized. I mean, I'm telling you, it's happened 10, 20 times. I don't want to schlep. With the medallion, each of us have, our medallion has access to the stateroom. It welcomes me as I'm coming in. I love. And I also love the personalization of it. What does this do? You know what it does? It gives us personalization at scale. Think of these ships and how big they are. But yet, when you have the medallion and you were approaching, I'll give you an example, International Cafe, and the group travel advisors I was with last week said, I can't believe every time I go to order my coffee, they know my name. So they'll welcome me. Hi, Carmen, welcome. You can't do that on a ship this big because normally if you're in a luxury brand, I don't know if you know, the staff has to memorize your name. They learn and memorize, and it's test taking. For us, it's not. It's true personalization at scale because of what this does. And then finding your way around is really good. Easy dining reservations, view and plan your activities. But I want to hone in on finding your way and your shipmates because you are able to tie yourself in and know, for instance, where your kids are, where your family members are, people who've accepted you. So I'll give you an example. When my kids were growing up and they were little and we've cruised, my son's been cruising. I think he started cruising through the night or sleeping through the night on his first cruise, which is a weekend cruise. He was 5 months old. But when they were older, I'd have to give them walkie-talkies. I know I'm dating myself. It's like saying a rotary phone, right? We had Radio Shack walkie-talkies that I'd hand one to him. He was the eldest, so that I'd know what they're doing, and I'm coming to get you. And he never answered, so it was a waste. With this, I know exactly where my kids are, when I need to find someone. It is completely game-changing from a technology perspective. And that to me is just put your mind at ease. I'll show you a video that I think will bring it to life.
Why would you want a way to locate your friends and family on our ships?
Hi, Hannah. Look what time it is. It's time for me to be right here with you.
That's why. Keep track of your crew anywhere on the ship. The Princess Medallion Class Experience. Only on Princess. Exclusively for everyone.
I hope you enjoyed that. That is my absolute favorite video. I think, and thank you for the love and the laughter, trust me, because let me tell you, I absolutely love that video because I think it really summarizes in a very humorous way, right? One of the many features that this medallion, again, does, right? What is it access? Why is it unique? And it's unique to us. And it's wearable. By the way, it comes in a beautiful little lanyard. I just happen to have the bracelet. I have the necklace. I brand it out. I personalize it. Every time I go on a ship, it's normally personalized. This happens to be red, white, and blue. And it's just a game changer. And again, only us, exclusively on Princess. So we're very happy about, and it's not about the technology. I don't want you to get caught up on just the technology. It's what the technology allows us to do with personalization that is really mind-blowing. It's absolutely incredible. So let's shift gears because we've talked about Sanctuary Collection. I just want to talk about the brand. So, we are the destination leader. And I always like to say the cruise itineraries and deployment. So if you don't know how it all works, really deployment is the first and foremost pillar of how you really expand your brand. And of course, everything else comes, whether it's revenue from the commercial team, how do we price ourselves as price leaders, marketing, sales, the rest. But what you need to know is we visit over 350 destinations in 89 countries. That is just amazing with these 16 ships, soon to be 17, and there's 330 unique itineraries. I mean, do I need to say more on every continent? It is pretty impressive. And yet, if you think about coming back from the pause to get ships operating and back in the water and cruising as these destinations opened up, it truly is a tribute to the teams on board and the operational teams that have made it happen. So if you go to the next slide, I'll just focus in on Alaska. More guests choose Princess for Alaska than any other cruise line. And I think I mentioned we take more guests to the Great Land, but it's not just because we visit Alaska, it's because we live in Alaska. We are invested, right? Next slide. We have been voted best cruise line in Alaska in the Travel Awards 6-time runnings. Next slide, or next bullet point, I should say. Travel Age West as well, but my favorite's coming right up, which is the next one. Travel Weekly's Reader's Choice Awards. These are big. Why do I talk about it? It's not because I want to pat ourselves or my deployment team. 20 times we have been voted best cruise line in Alaska. And those are Reader's Choice Awards. And why they're so important is because I use this as a third-party endorsement. That's why I always talk about it. Because me as a brand, of course, I'm going to say we're the best in Alaska. And you as a travel advisor selling our brand want to sell an Alaska cruise, you're going to do the same. But if the readers are choosing us 20 times, and we actually are in for the running for Lucky 21, can't lose it. I want to stay and remain number one in Alaska. It really helps you to sell the brand, to really be a value interpreter to your clients, because it's not you saying it, it's not Princess saying it as a brand, it's the readers imposed to expense. And by the way, let me give you a sneak peek. We bring more children, multi-gen families. We have more first-time cruisers in Alaska. It is incredible how we source it because it is like synonymous, Princess and Alaska. So next slide, I just want to go quickly. By the way, you can always partner with your business development manager. They are experts in Alaska for us. And so how is the best way to visit Alaska and why we do it so different? Okay. So we start first, how do we explore Alaska? And there's different ways to do it. Alaska, as you might know, no different than Canada. It is an amazingly immense country. You can go to Alaska 20 times. I've been there 5. And every experience is different. It is a vast land with so much to experience that it takes more than a few times visiting it, kind of like beautiful Canada, to really embrace the culture and the experience, right? So let's start first with, the first way to see Alaska is our round trip cruises inside passage. So this is really simple. I always call this like, it's kind of like a nice entryway, right? Because we have these incredible round trip cruises. I always like to say it's like 101 Alaska, because it allows them, as you know, to really get to learn about the experience. But also when you think about it, we have departures from Seattle, San Francisco, and Vancouver. And we even ask for longer voyages from LA. But a 7-day trip, round trip, that happens to be Seattle, inside passage, you can see it either goes, you know, to Endicott Arm or it does the Glacier Bay. So when you think about from an air perspective, again, I always like to put a little bit of a spin to it from a sales perspective. When you're selling Alaska, for you, obviously, it's in your backyard. But for us, like in the US, I always like to say, especially with air costs, you amortize the cost of the air. And if it's round trip, then you don't have to worry about open jaw. So the second way to see Alaska, or how to visit Alaska, next slide, with us, is really our one-way cruises with Voyage of the Glacier. So this is really great because if you think about it, you know, these are the departures from Vancouver or Anchorage. These one-way cruises show more of Alaska's coast, and they also include 2 days of glacier viewing. So think about, if you think of this map of Alaska, and I'll go quickly, you know, you look at the Voyage of the Glacier, it really allows you to sail 500 miles further north into and across the Gulf of Alaska. So you'll see the blue line route shows you the inside passage itinerary, and then you'll follow the red route, right? So that one just tells you 500 miles north. So again, it's giving them a little bit more. And if you look at the next slide, you'll talk about what does that allow us to offer? So North to Alaska, by the way, was voted best educational program, which I think is great, by the Travel Weekly Magellan, Gold Magellan Award winner. It really is one of our most award-winning offerings. Why? Because whether it's Puppies in the Piazza, which I've experienced myself, Lumberjack, Naturalist, you know, Park Rangers, where you do fresh to Alaska, you know, seafood and more. I mean, it truly brings Alaska on board. So the experience is not just ashore, but on board. We want to immerse everybody, not just in the destination, but the culture. So whether it's ashore or on board, we own this. And now that we've expanded it on board and our land, we offer 5 Princess Wilderness Lodges. So if you'll go to the next slide, we're going to talk about the third. How do they see all of Alaska? So the third way really is to see most of Alaska is not just the cruise portion, but our Princess Cruise Tours, which, by the way, for 2025, if you have anybody who is thinking about 2025 Alaska, now is the time. It is selling like hotcakes, and so is 2026. So if you go to the next slide, what this really allows you, we have 25 different tours for 2025. Cruise tours are very, very unique. Again, 7 days, 3 ports, plus Glacier Bay National Park, which, by the way, it's breathtaking. I got to talk to Joe about some of the scenery here is absolutely gorgeous, right? And that's what people want. They want, so we find that our advisors are concerned of how they sell cruise tours. You don't feel comfortable. We're going to make it easy for you. I promise you, and we will educate you on how to sell it. So if you go to the next slide, not only, if you think about the next component, it's the trail, right? 500-mile trek on the train into the heart of Alaska. Same day, ship to Denali. Nobody does that. Look up, you're right there. Look at the ship. Look at making that train experience so easy for them. And if you go to the next bullet point, our Princess Rail Service. So same day, ship to Denali, direct to the wilderness with this rail. Look at these gorgeous, gorgeous open air views and these dome cars, right? Glass dome. Again, it's bringing everything that is Alaska to our guests in complete comfort, right? They have food and bar service. And again, experts in the destination that are offering commentary as they go on. Next slide. I also want to talk about, what is this, the lodge? So here's really exciting. So every cruise tour visits Denali National Park. But when you talk about one of our Princess Lodges, next slide, here's our Alaska lodges. There's big five wildlife in Denali. And when you think about our lodges, we own and operate the lodges. This is why when I started, I said, we don't just visit Alaska, we live in Alaska. We are so part of that culture and the fabric of Alaska. And I think that's what sets us aside. When people are trying to go to Alaska and they've never been on a cruise and they pick Princess, is because they know that experience, whether you're on the ship or whether you're in any of our beautiful 5 lodges, guess what? It is a Princess experience, and it is delivered and executed in a way that allows you to really be in the embrace of the great land of Alaska. And I think that is amazing, right? So next slide. I know I want to make sure I'm extremely cautious of our time because I know there's a lot to cover. So when you think of Alaska, and you'll see here, this map really gives you some of the lodge. It shows you all of our lodge locations, right? So think about how in the center of Alaska they are. You're really in the wilderness. You are really taking this particular option when you're selling Alaska. And we have certain cruise tours that I'm going to talk about in focus that show all of the national parks. And you can see in this tour how exciting it is. So if you go to the next one, we're going to talk about, do you really want to see the 5 national parks on one vacation? I mean, I served this up. This is to the folks who've done Alaska before and they want to do it all. So obviously they have to have time on their hands, right? Because this is a little unique. So if your clients, are national park buffs, people love to collect. So if you're collectors, like I always say, they might be UNESCO heritage site collectors, right? It's qualifying that client. And if they are park buffs, they want to do this. Because if you just think about the national park scenic cruising, the tundra wilderness tour into Denali, the fjords, I mean, who doesn't want to see this kind of experience, right? So I think it's really important when we have this special tour, and I've just featured one. So if you go to the next slide, this National Parks Cruise Tour brought it back. It's a 15-night cruise tour, folks. So this is not for the faint of heart or the faint of time, right? You got to make sure you qualify this. But this is probably, if I have, and I don't call it a bucket list, I call it a life list. If I had a life list of how I want to see Alaska, and make sure if I'm going to go once, I'm going to go big or go home, right? This is the way I'd want to see it. Why? Because you enjoy 8 nights. Think about that. 8 nights in the Alaska wilderness. You are immersing yourself in everything that is Alaska. You stay at 4 of our Princess Lodges. Everything is done for you. It's turnkey, seamless, as it should be. 7-day voyage of the glaciers. You get the Princess Rail. And you visit up to 5 national parks. That's the cruise tour, ZA8 and ZB8. Really important. Want to make sure if you have a client that this is their life list dream, this is the cruise tour that I would focus on selling them, because you are checking all of the boxes. So next slide. And by the way, in our Princess Academy, we offer a section just for Alaska. We want you to become an Alaska expert. So our Princess Academy is award-winning as well. And you can take these modules on your own at your time. You can start them, come back. It really allows you to set yourself up as an expert. And we make it so easy, which is the key, right? Listen, we know you have choices on who you sell. And it's really wanting to be a pleasure to do business and make it easy for you to sell our brand, that we own everything and you're going to have that quality and that Princess DNA and essence throughout everything that we offer when we serve up our Alaska experience. So we'll go to the next slide, because I want to talk about just very quickly, how do we make money, right? So why are our bundles so different? So we like to just keep it simple. It pays to plus. This is, Plus and Premier. If you go to the next slide, it's really things that your client are doing anyway. And I put commissionable, and I love it's up there, because as long as you sell our Plus or Premier packages, our bundle packages, before your guests come on board, you're going to get the commission. It's still, we have not increased the price of Plus. It's still $60 per person per day. But think of the savings, right? Of the savings your clients are getting. Talked about the 3 anchors, the beverage package, enhanced Wi-Fi. We enhanced it with the Medallion, obviously Max, that we just announced, but it's one single device and gratuities included. Those are the 3 anchors. All the others are nice to have. And of course, I've talked about Medallion Net Max. You can only get access to Medallion Net Max through Princess Plus or Princess Premier. Next slide. So we say, why it pays to Plus? Why it pays to Premier? I kind of touched about Premier earlier because it's part of the Sanctuary collection. But if you just had a regular stateroom accommodation and you wanted to add Premier to your clients, it's just $90 per person per day. This is what my family and I always book. Commissionable to you. Again, the 3 anchors, Premier, beverage package, which is unlimited. So it's not limited to 15 or 20. It is unlimited. Wi-Fi, 4 devices, and unlimited specialty. Can it get any better? Think about this. Gratuities included, reserved seating, but all the other things. Just focus on the anchors. And if you think of the value, it's a value of saving more than 70% if they were doing these items separately, a la carte. And again, included in Sanctuary collection, which is even more of a value differentiator. And when you sell a Sanctuary collection stateroom or suite, this is why. Now, I get this question, and we'll go to the next slide. I get it all the time. What if my client doesn't drink alcohol? It still pays to Plus. So we wanted just to give you an example. On the left, non-alcoholic beverages with gratuity per day. Let's say that you had, first of all, when I go to International Cafe, I have a latte, and it's normally the salted caramel, not non-fat, no foam, no whip, just so you know. I have 2 of those in the morning. But let's just say I had 1. Or maybe I'd have an iced coffee. Large bottle of water. I do about 12 of them a day, just so you know, because I'm going to go to the gym and I have to keep hydrated. I don't do energy drinks because I'd rather have another coffee. But just a mocktail, let's say they have sodas, just that limited amount comes out to $32 or $47 per day, right? Then you have to do the gratuities. You have to do Wi-Fi. Who's not going to have Wi-Fi? Kind of wish I didn't have to have Wi-Fi, but if you look at the per person per day rate, $74.49 if you were doing it a la carte. Next slide. So if they do it with Plus, I mean, just do the math, right? This is why it pays to Plus. So whether it's, I don't want to get caught up in, oh, but they don't drink alcohol. You can do the exercise for them and do the value proposition for them. And then you talk about, why it pays to Plus, more commission for you. Look at the guests. I mean, it's truly wonderful. That's just Plus. If you do Premier, obviously it's a higher price point. And then we've created, and I want to make sure when we go to the next slide, there's a great QR code. I got in trouble when I created this because I go brand C. I think you know who brand C is, and it's not Carnival. Brand N and brand R. And I said to our team, our bundles are the best in the business, bar none. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. It is the best bundle package of any cruise company, period. Okay, you can scan the chart. You can see what we include, what others do not. And it is huge. And now that we've elevated Princess Premier to unlimited, no one can touch us. And the fact that it's commissionable up until before sailing, folks, it truly does pay to Plus. If I am a travel advisor sitting in your position, I'd be including Plus minimum, if not Premier, to everybody I sell. It's as simple as that. It will also get higher ratings because then it's seamless, not being nickel and dimed to death. And that's one of the biggest things that I hear is what my clients love is that they didn't have to worry about the gratuity on the drink. They just knew they had the package, they were taken care of, and they're done. Seamless, turnkey, and huge for our guest satisfaction ratios. So next slide, onesourcecruises.com. So I want to make sure if you're registered with us, we've optimized this for mobile. So even if you're not anchored to a desk and a laptop or a desktop, you can do it on your mobile device. Really allows you to access onesourcecruises.com, our booking tools through Polar, our marketing support, again, the Princess Academy that I talked about, certified training, and all of our sales programs. Next slide. But if you're not, think about Princess Academy. This is like, it blows me away when I look at this. Not to mention that it's an award-winning academy, which I feel humbled about. But when I think about how many people have completed these courses, right? And they become experts, whether experts with Princess Destinations, our onboard experience. They want to know about the medallion class. What is it that you want to really focus on? Do you want to talk about first-time cruisers? We really serve this up. 3 million courses have been completed. It blows me away. And that's over a 15 plus year period. So very happy about the Academy. And it really makes you, listen, how can you be an expert in everything? I just got to say, I hold you in such great regard because you're not just selling the Princess brand, you're selling a lot of brands. And how do you become an expert in anything? That's why we have invested so much in the Academy to give you the resources and the tools you need to help you sell our brand. Again, putting our money where our mouth is. And next slide, we'll talk about the different benefits, right? So why you want to take the Academy, why you want to become a Commodore. Best training, but really has the richest rewards. And when I got here a couple of years ago, I said, what? We give everybody elite benefits? I don't even get elite benefits when I cruise. Wow. Free graduation cruise. Once you've reached that Commodore level in the Academy, again, think about the onboard credit for completing refresher courses. We do these annually. We want to keep it fresh. Why? Because our brand keeps evolving. Think about it. When we added Plus and Premier to the brand a couple of years ago, we had to do an Academy session on that, a module on Sanctuary Collection. So we continue to add to the resources for you so that you get on there and you do the training and the curriculum changes based on how we evolve on a brand. So we keep it fresh. And again, we allow the certificate of achievement that you get. This also counts towards, as you know, CLIA accreditation, whether it's ACC or MCC, and also for the Canadian travel agencies, you also get credits for the Institute. Next slide. So this, princesspartners.com, and I know we're getting to the end of our time, but I want to make sure I talk about this. So if you are not on onesourcecruises.com, when I got here, the first thing I said is maybe they aren't selling our brand. Listen, the landscape of the travel advisor community has changed. We're no longer a 2019 distribution channel, right? The distribution channel has changed. A lot of folks don't have brick and mortars. Some do, which is wonderful. Many have become IC models, or you work out of your home, right? So we need to be where you are. And so there's a lot of new folks to this industry. Maybe they had a second career, or this is a second career. They had a career in real estate or in another sales capacity. Now they're entering what I call the happiness business, which is travel, right? They're selling hospitality. So how do we reach you, or how would he let you reach us? So we created princesspartners.com. Those are for you to just start the journey with us. Come in and learn why Princess. Meet our sales team. Dabble in our Princess Academy. Talk about our booking tools. Look at the flyers, the videos, what we offer with live webinars. I do my webinars every 2 weeks. It's Connect with Princess, our weekly e-newsletter that keeps you in touch. So this just lets you to come in. You don't have to marry us. You can date us through princesspartners.com. And then if you love it, you can go on, you link into onesourcecruises.com and get registered. So we're making sure it's nice and easy for you when you start this new journey, learning journey, and selling partnership with us. And then the last slide, if you're not registered at One Source Cruises, go to this princesspartners.com. We've just completely rehauled it, and kind of like after Labor Day, everybody goes back to school. We're going back to business. So we revamped it, made it easier to navigate. There's the QR code for One Source. But if you haven't gone to Princess Partners, do get started. And again, our business development managers are truly here to help you grow your business, whether it is a first time to our brand because you're selling other cruise brands and have never dabbled in it's a 59-year-old company that I humbly say put cruising on the map with the Love Boat. And that show, it lifted an entire industry. It is an iconic show. And having been on the ship last week, we actually have a dedicated channel to all of the Love Boat episodes. So if you've never seen the Love Boat, how do we do that? We bring in a new generation. When my kids sail, they're constantly following it and they love it. So I just wanted to make sure that we give you all the resources you need to be able to sell this amazing brand. And if we go to the last slide, I think that was just the opportunity. I think we have a few minutes left. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to take them. But I want to thank everybody for their time, for their commitment. I know what it takes to take an hour out of your busy schedules to tune in. So on behalf of our team, whether it's on board or shore, we truly appreciate you spending this time with us. And bring on the questions.
All right. Thank you so much. We do have a few questions here.
Excellent.
So from Susan, do you need to take courses yearly to keep your Commodore status?
We do. You do. So we do annual refresher courses based on what we're changing, right? So like next Sanctuary Collection will have its own module. Normally it takes 3 of them so that you can redo your status. Keeps you fresh.
And do you ever lose your Commodore free cruise if you have not taken it yet?
No, as long as but you have to stay in good standing to be able to take it, right? So you might have been a Commodore, you never took your cruise, but now you haven't taken any of the refreshers. Highly recommend. You got to stay up to date because we really want you to be an expert on the brand, right? Hope that helps.
So from Sonia here, is there any extra cost for some of the restaurants?
There are. So we've actually increased the cost. So you do not have like Princess Premier, it's unlimited for specialty, right? But there are some that are not specialty. So like Love by Brito is an added cost, and all of those have different costs to them. But if somebody's on a standard, they don't have Plus or Premier, and they want to go to a specialty, we've just increased the cost to $49 per person. But we have other experiences that I couldn't get into, but like Chef's Table. So we have a Chef's Table, which is, you can imagine, 8 courses with wine pairings. Absolutely amazing. I was just on Enchanted, and we have a 360 experience on Enchanted and Discovery Princess. That's an additional charge. It's about $149 for the Chef's Table. We have a partnership with Camus Vineyards. I'm on my way to Napa next week. So the Wagner family, if you're familiar with wine, Camus Wines and Camus Vineyards in Napa have never had a partnership with any cruise company. It's an exclusive partnership with us. I've done the Camus dinners on board, and there's about $149 per person. Well worth it because you get a sampling of all the Camus wines. So like that Spellbound that I talked about, the partnership with Magic Castle, that's an additional charge.
All right. And also from Sonia, will there be agent rates for the sanctuary experience?
Sonia, I'm giving you a bonus commission there. $100. No, I do not foresee us having travel advisor rates on Sanctuary Collection because it is such a unique offering and it's so limited when you look at the complement and it's only on 2 ships. I truly believe we will sell those at full rate. However, if you are sailing with us, you can always email us. And if there's a way to upgrade, we'll try to see. Remember, it includes Princess Premier, so it's a very rich offering. And I never say no, but I truly prefer to be 100% sold out at full tariff in that space.
All right. And then a question on the medallion. When visiting a cruise destination, do you still need your passport, or does the medallion have the passport info so that you don't need to take it with you when disembarking?
So it's interesting. That's a great question. So if you think about it, the medallion is really exclusive to us, right? So it has all of your information on the app, and you're going to need a passport when you check in. That's really critical. But when you're getting on and off our ship, so when I got off in Canada last week, I just needed the medallion to get in and out, right? That was it. What I didn't talk about is that the medallion's so unique that you don't even need a credit card, because we do certain shops, and I did this in Alaska, and we do it in the Caribbean, we do it everywhere, that are part of our Medallion Pay program. So let's say you're going to a jewelry store. Let's say it's Diamonds International. I'm going to use that, give them a plug. And you decide to buy a beautiful ring. So if you buy it with your medallion, using Medallion Pay, by the way, they're not going to charge you more for the ring, but you will get a 7% cash. It's like a cash back, but it's a cash back based on a future cruise credit. So you get an onboard credit, 7%. So you're really getting that savings. So the Medallion Pay is very unique, and all you need is the medallion.
All right. And we got about 1 minute left, so I'll ask one more question. And then this is from Catherine. Is the Island Princess going to get an international cafe?
Well, that's a great question. I wish I could answer that, because I don't know if she's doing, Island Princess is one of our seasoned vessels, right? Her and Coral. And we really put her on the World Cruise Experience normally. But I don't have the actual answer, because I don't know when her next dry dock is, but I'll duly note it and see, because I do agree with you. The International Cafe for me is the go-to. I laugh because I don't have breakfast anywhere. I have it there. I have such an offering with the incredible lattes and everything they offer. It is truly a huge plus when we have those on the ships. So I'll let the ops team know.
All right. Actually, one more question, and then we'll wrap it up for today. From Irene, is Princess Partners Access available to post-secondary educators for travel and tourism programs?
It is. It's accessible to anybody. You don't have to be registered on one. So folks who've never booked us can get on there and look at princesspartners.com. It's open to everybody.
Amazing. Love to hear that. And we'll let you all go for the rest of your day. Thanks again, everyone.